We'd like to welcome you to the Rural Experience Series. We have put these videos together so that they might help people who are out in the country to have a more enjoyable and fulfilling experience there. And for those who haven't moved out to the country yet, we hope that it will encourage you to make that move, that it might be a lot of hard work, but it's just a tremendous blessing, and we would invite each one of you to participate in it. We hope you enjoy the videos. Thank you. Welcome to Remedies from the Past, Preparation for the Future. We're your hosts today. I'm Tony Ricono. This is my wife Nora, and we've been showing people how to do these natural remedies that we're about to demonstrate to you for years. So we pray that you will get a blessing from this program, and that you'll be able to use them to help your family and others that may be in your community. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start showing you some of our natural remedies, but before we begin, I just wanted to talk to you. You've heard the old saying, prevention is better than cure, and we want to introduce to you 8 remedies that exemplify that prevention is better than cure. They are in this order: pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, which I'll explain that word in a minute, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, and trust in divine power. Now, you heard that big word a minute ago, that's abstemiousness. It means being temperate in those things which are good and abstaining from those things which are bad. An apple is a good thing to eat, but if you eat a whole bushel of them, that's a bad thing. So you want to be temperate with the apple, but when we talk about alcohol, tobacco, drugs, things of that nature, we want to abstain from those things. And we believe in these remedies. We've seen them heal many people, and we want you to look into those things a little bit closer so that you can apply those to your life, and then a lot of these things will just complement those 8 remedies that we just talked about. The first remedy that we're going to introduce you today is called rocket fuel. I bet that scares a lot of you when we talk about rocket fuel, but this is a good immune boosting drink, and it's got many wonderful things in it. Nora's going to start preparing the rocket fuel right now. We're first going to start with lemons. The lemon, wonderful blood cleanser. It's got really good alkalizing properties. It will clean the blood up. It gives the good immune boosting properties to your drink that you need. So Nora's grinding up this lemon right now, and then
takes about a half of a cup.
Half a cup, and so she's getting ready to pour that in. And the next thing that we're going to put in is garlic, and we're going to do from 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. So you can tell this is going to be a really good, strong drink. Okay, the next thing that we'll put in is a thumb of ginger. And when we're talking about a thumb, we're sticking it up like that. Nora's going to cut that off, and we're just going to put that inside the drink. And the ginger actually has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, and it will also offset the pungent taste of the garlic. So it's just a wonderful thing to put in this drink as well. I didn't mention the garlic properties a minute ago, but the garlic has high antibiotic properties. It's a good parasite cleanser. All of these things are really good. Okay, the next thing that she's going to put in is the onion. We're going to put that in, and again, that has many of the same properties as the garlic. Onion's optional on this, but we figure the more good things that you have in there, the better off you're going to be.
About 1/4 of an onion.
About 1/4 of an onion is what we're putting in. Now we're going to put in just a pinch of cayenne, and this is kind of a catalyst to the drink. Now we're going to put some honey in to the drink, and this this will make it a little bit more palatable, and plus honey has many wonderful qualities in itself that we will talk about later. Now we're going to add some, we're actually going to blend this up real quickly, and then we're going to add some water to the drink. And now we're going to add a quart of water to this drink. And once that quart of water has been blended up, you're not just going to take one little cup of this, you're going to drink the whole quart to get the proper benefits from the drink. So we're going to grind that up now. And now it's ready to drink. This is great for boosting the immune system. If you start to feel a little scratchy throat or are starting to develop a cold, then this is a good time to drink this drink. We've actually had a doctor friend of ours take this to the Philippines at one time, and they were actually using it for cancer treatment. So it's just got so many wonderful properties in it. Don't be afraid to use it. It's just, like I said, it's simple to make, and I would make it part of your daily regimen. Thank you. The next natural remedy we're going to show you is a parsley pineapple drink. Not only does this taste good, but it's a good way for to get your children that vitamin A and that chlorophyll and those greens that they need. It's also good for building the bones, which would help offset osteoporosis and things of that nature. Very simple to make. We just need a little bit of pineapple juice that we're going to pour into the container now, and then we're going to put a handful of parsley inside this. And you don't have to be exact. I know a lot of you out there like to be down to the minute detail, but on this all you need is just a handful. Mix it up. We're going to mix it up in the blender, and then we'll be able to try it out in a little bit. It's very good. Okay, Nora's going to put that in now. Now we've just used canned pineapple juice out of this, but you could blend up a pineapple and put into this. You're going to get more of the anti-inflammatory effects of the pineapple, the bromelain that's in it, all those other good things. But if you don't have anything else, the canned will work just as well. The main thing we want to do is get the greens in the diet. So we'll try this out, and we hope you like it. The next natural remedy we're going to show you is has to do with a lemon cleanse. We're not actually going to demonstrate this, but I'm going to tell you how to do this right now. Use natural lemons. Matter of fact, we have probably just about enough to do the last one. But with day one on this lemon cleanse, you're going to squeeze 1 lemon into 1 quart of warm water. On day 2, you're going to go with 2 lemons. And so forth all the way up until you get to day 7, be 7 lemons, and then you're going to start coming back down 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now don't worry if you can't get all the way up to the 7th lemon. Just get up as high as you can, but it's a very good blood cleanser. It'll get your body set and ready to go again, and it just cleans things out. And the nice thing about this cleanse is that you can still eat your meals. We just ask that you do this first thing in the morning. Okay, the next remedy that we're going to show you is to help build up the red blood cells in the system. And it's very simple. All we're going to use is grape juice, and we're going to put in 1 egg. Now, this is a special egg because we didn't buy this out of the local grocery store, because those eggs are tending to be more dangerous to consume all the time because they're raised in such poor conditions. But this comes right out of a small farm chicken operation. They haven't had any antibiotics in them. They've been fed well, and they're just raised out on the pasture. So this drink, we're going to mix it up. Nora's going to mix it up right now. Okay, we've seen this drink time and time again, especially with people that have been diagnosed with anemia. We'll reverse that, we'll build the hemoglobin back up in the system, and we'll actually give them energy and vitality again that they haven't had in months, maybe years sometimes. It acts on the system that fast, and we would recommend it to anybody who is having trouble dragging, or they just aren't feeling well right now.
Feebleness.
Yeah, feebleness as well. So try this out. The next treatment we're going to show you is probably one of the most valuable and versatile ones that you can use in your home. You can take this treatment and use it anywhere. We've used it as far away as Kenya in Africa before. It's just a real simple treatment. It's the hot foot bath. You need very few things to accomplish this treatment. You need a bucket. You need some hot water. A chair is preferable, but we could be laying down, a couple of towels, and a sheet, shower curtain, blanket, anything of that nature. This treatment is good for an abundance of different ailments. Common cold. It can help with a headache. If you have a headache, it will actually, when you put your feet in the hot water through the process of derivation, it actually draws blood from the head down into the foot area and will relieve that congestion headache that you might have. It's also good for, if you lay a person down, it will also lower blood pressure by 10 to 15 points. So it's a very versatile treatment. I used this on Nora years ago when she has allergies to cats on occasion, and she was having quite an asthma attack, and we were up in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere in somebody's home, and this is all we had. So I ended up doing this treatment on her for up to 3, maybe 4 hours, and it actually started to open things up and relieve that congestion from that asthma attack. And you know, again, we see Nora, she's standing here with me today, so the Lord blessed it and it worked. Nora's going to demonstrate this treatment on me, and we hope you'll implement it in your toolbox.
All right, we're getting ready to do a hot foot bath on Tony, and we're going to put his feet into the water. It's important for us to help put the feet into the water so that we don't burn them. So it's looking good. It feels good to you? Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay. So his feet are in hot water. Now we're going to put a blanket. I'm on my skirt. A blanket around him. Let's see if we can hold in some of that heat. Like Tony said, the vessels in his feet are opening up, and the blood is flowing down there. So this treatment is good for anybody that has any kind of congestion, could have pain. This is just even a nice treatment to do for somebody that's got a headache or just has cold feet. So I'm going to make sure that he's well hydrated through the treatment. I'm going to be giving him lots of water. And I'm going to take a wet towel. This one's not wet, but we'll take a wet towel, cold, and put it on his head and keep his head cold through the treatment. And that's how you do a hot foot bath. All right, we're going to finish this treatment, And so we're going to take...
How long did the treatment last?
The treatment should last, it depends on the situation, what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to warm somebody's feet, maybe 15 minutes. If you're working on something, maybe they have abdominal pain or they have high blood pressure, something like this, then you might, do half an hour, even an hour, with this treatment. If you wanted to make this a heating treatment for helping somebody that's getting sick, then it's going to be an hour. You're going to be watching them.
And you're going to be adding hot water to it at that time?
That's right. We're going to be adding more hot water. So the water's going to cool off, and you're going to want to add more water hot. And when you do, you're going to move the feet over so that you don't burn them when you put in the hot water, and you're going to agitate the water as you're putting it in so that you don't burn them. Okay, we're going to take this off. The treatment is done. Okay, we're going to lift up the feet, and then we're going to pour some cool water over the feet. And we're going to take him out of the bucket. You can see his feet are nice and pink. That's good. And then we're going to dry his feet. So you always want to end these warm treatments with something cool afterwards. So it'd be good for Tony to rest for about a half an hour after doing this treatment, and then he's good to go. Look at those nice pink toes.
All right, the next subject we're going to talk about is charcoal. This is an extensive subject because this is, of all the remedies that we have, this is probably the most beneficial remedy that you can have on hand. It's activated charcoal, but it doesn't have to be activated. You can actually make your own charcoal at home, and maybe one of these days we'll do a video and show you how to make your own. But the first thing we want to talk about is how you can administer charcoal. One of the easiest ways to administer it, let's say you have a stomach ache, or you're just not feeling right, or maybe you have the onset of a cold. What you can do is just take a tablespoon of charcoal, put it into a glass of water, and one thing you want to be sure of when you're working with charcoal is a powder, and it's black and it will get all over everything. So you want to be very careful in handling it. But we're putting a little bit of water into it, and then we're going to fill up the rest of the glass, and what you're going to do is just drink it. And what charcoal will do when it goes in, it will actually absorb any kind of poisons in the system. It will absorb bacterial infections. Let's say you got food poisoning or something of that nature. Charcoal is one of the best remedies for that, because you just continue to take it, and it will calm down the stomach. Eventually it will stop any vomiting or diarrhea. You just need to continue to take it. The one thing that you want to remember when you're taking charcoal internally is to drink plenty of water, because it's very important. And like I said, when you drink the charcoal, it doesn't taste like anything. It has a little bit of grit, but it's well worth just taking a drink of it and putting it down, because it will take care of so many different things. We've seen it, again, take care of almost any kind of stomach ailment. Charcoal has anti-inflammatory properties. It will actually take up a lot of those hormones that are creating the pain response. It's just a good way to take care of those things. The next way that we're going to use charcoal is to make it into a poultice. And what Nora is going to do is she's going to take a little bit of the charcoal and put it in the bowl. And like I said, again, you want to be careful with the charcoal, because it will make a tremendous mess if you're not very careful with it. And what we like to do when we make a poultice is we like to use psyllium husk powder. You can use flaxseed with it. You can even use wheat flour with it. But we have found that the psyllium husk powder makes a better poultice. It's we call it the no mess poultice. So we mix these two together, and you can see that they will
Equal parts.
Yeah, equal parts. 1 part charcoal to 1 part psyllium husk powder, or psyllium seed powder, either one. They will readily combine together as you start to mix them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start adding water to this mixture until it will actually feel like a skin, like the skin on Nora's arm when we get it finished. And you shouldn't be able to touch the charcoal and have it come off on your hands. And then it just makes a really nice clean poultice. The uses of this poultice are many. Let's say you get an insect bite or spider bite, or a boil, something of that nature. You can put that poultice on top of it, and it will actually draw poisons out of the skin and settle things back down. Again, it's an anti-inflammatory. Let's say you had a swollen knee. You can slap that charcoal poultice on there, and it will actually help to shrink the swelling of the knee. It's just good for so many different things. As Nora's mixing this up right now, you can also take a little bit of this charcoal and make a slurry. Let's say you had this cup and you let this settle down to the bottom where it's just kind of a gray water. You can actually use this for babies that have colic, and it will actually settle them right down. They'll quit having those sharp pains that are caused by colic, and you'll have a much happier baby. Okay, Nora's, you can see a little bit, it's starting to thicken up, and I want you to show it just a little bit more. You can see it's thickening up into a paste, and again, what we want is a skin, and we're going to roll this out on a piece of plastic in a moment, and we're going to we'll show you how we prepare the poultice and also how we store it. You can actually make these ahead of time and store many of them if you had to use one every hour or one every day, something of that nature. One precaution we want to give you is when you do use charcoal, if you use the poultice, you want to actually throw that poultice away after you're done because it has lots of poisons in it. We want to go to the next one. So don't reuse the poultices. Again, another contraindication for using charcoal is if you're on medications of any sort. Like I said again, charcoal likes to grab hold of poisons and take them out of the system, and it will take your medications out of the system. So you want to consult somebody of knowledge before you start using charcoal in that capacity, if you're on any medications. Okay, Nora is going to, you can see the paste that she has. I'm just going to move this out of the way for just a second. And she's going to put this out on the saran wrap right now. And we'll move this back around again, and she's actually going to pull out another piece. And we'll show you in just a second. We're going to put that over the top of it. And then we're going to roll it out and just make a pancake out of it. And normally what we do, you can use a roller, you can use your hands like Nora's using. You could even use a round glass jar. And just what we want to do is just flatten it out and make a pancake out of it. And you can see just a nice round pancake. And we'll just look at this a minute. And
you're going to put it on directly onto the skin.
Yeah, if you put it directly on the skin, you can just see here, no black on the skin at all right now. It's not coming off. And We've already got our saran wrap bottom, so we can apply this directly to the skin. Okay, see, when we touch this and just look at it, it's not coming off on my hand. This is still actually just a little bit wet, but once it dries out, you'll have nothing on your skin to speak of. So this is ready to apply to the skin right now, and it's nice because you already have the saran wrap down. You could just place that on top of the skin. If I was doing it on Nora's arm, could place it right on top of her arm and just wrap it around there, and she can keep that poultice on for many hours or maybe overnight to take care of the problem that she has. Okay, to store this charcoal poultice, we'll just put the saran wrap back over, and we'll show you just a nifty way to store this. You've got it back on. Remember, it's a pancake, and Nora's just going to roll this back up, and we can actually put this in the freezer and save it for months and then pull it out. Let's say you just had a little insect bite. You could just cut a little piece off and put it on the skin. Charcoal is also another, this poultice is also good for the eyes. If you had any kind of pink eye, things of that nature, a swollen eye, you could put that sty in the eye, you could put that charcoal directly over the eye, and you know, it will help reduce that swelling there. A couple other uses for charcoal, and there are many. I'm only touching on a few of them, but you can also, it's good for whitening your teeth. You can put a little bit on your toothbrush and just start brushing around. It has a little grit to it, and it will actually take off a lot of the outer plaque. We don't recommend that you use it all the time, but maybe once a week, just to clean the mouth out real good. It'll actually make your teeth nice and black for a minute, but that all washes off, so you don't have to worry about your pretty smile, and you know, it'll just really whiten the teeth up. Another use for charcoal, let's say if you were having any kind of liver issues, and it works very well, is to mix up a little bit of charcoal with olive oil and just take that internally, and it will help to, a lot of times, to take a lot of the poisons out of the system. It'll also help with settling the stomach. Like I said, just if there is anything, it's 101 uses for charcoal. It's something that's well worth having on hand.
The next home remedy that we want to show you is a heating compress, and you can use these all over the body. You can use them on the throat for a sore throat, laryngitis.
Well, Nora just used it. She's had a knee problem this last week, and she used it over that to reduce the swelling, and it worked very well. What other ways can you use it?
Well, we can use it as a chest heating compress for like bronchitis or pneumonia, any kind of congestion. Even if you couldn't breathe because of a cold, you can put chest compress on, and it'll all of a sudden relieve all that congestion. So it's a wonderful treatment. It takes very little things. All we're going to use, if we're going to do a throat compress or a knee compress, we're just going to take a piece of wool. If you don't have a strip of wool like this, you can use a sock. So I just went and got this wool sock, and we're going to use some sheeting material. It can just cotton material. It can be a t-shirt that you've scissored. This, I think, is a sheet. Want to get it all nice and get all the water out of it, but okay, icy cold.
So this is for the throat compress.
This is going to be a throat compress that we'll do right now.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to put it on your throat. So it's cold. We're just going to wrap that around, not too tight. And this is a nice heating compress. It's been made just for this. It's got some Velcro on it. So we can just Velcro. Now all of a sudden it looks like you've got a turtleneck on. You can wear that all day or all night. What's going to happen is it's going to heat up, and it's going to dry out. And once it's dry, then you want to reapply it if you still need it.
Okay, and what's it doing when it does that?
Okay, when it's cold, it's constricting the blood vessels in the area, so it's pushing blood, out, and then as it warms up, it's bringing fresh blood in for healing. So it's a wonderful treatment for helping to get rid of a sore throat or laryngitis. You can actually use this over the abdominal area for even things like female problems. When somebody's having some difficulties or there's pain, you can put it on any place on the body and use this treatment. It's a wonderful treatment.
Okay, which one are you going to show next, Nora?
Okay, let's do the chest heating compress. We'll show how to do the whole chest. So we're going to have, what we're going to do is we're going to take a t-shirt, and I've cut the bottom and the arms out, and I'm going to soak it, and the same thing. We're going to put an icy cold t-shirt on. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, for modesty's sake, we're going to have Tony put this on in the back room, come out with this on, and then we'll go from there. Okay, Tony's put the t-shirt on. It's wet, it's cold. Now we're real fast. We're going to start covering him up. This is a wool strip. It's about 19 feet long. You can piece together one of these by just finding an old blanket. So I'm just going to wrap this around him.
So you're just doing this in a figure 8, right?
That's right. We're just figure 8ing. We're going to cover up. It's very important to cover up all that cold, wet t-shirt. Okay. And we haven't covered up it all together right now, but we will have it all together because we're going to pin this together. It takes about 9 pins to securely pin a wet sheet or a heating compress. So what I'm doing is just covering up all these areas, snugging it down. And again, he can wear this all night. After we get them all pinned in, then we're going to have him put a sweatshirt over the top and sleep with it like that.
This treatment really works because it's, I've used it many times before, and it will clear up chest congestion, bronchitis. It's real simple to do. I mean, this treatment's been around since the 1800s. So it's just it's a fantastic treatment. It doesn't take any outlay of means. It's just simple, and all you need is a little water and some material, and you're ready to go.
That one didn't do very good. There we go.
Okay, I got the last pin, and we'll just show you how it looks from the front and from the back. And then all you have to do is cover it with a sweatshirt and go to bed.
Almost immediately after you put this on like this, if you were coughing or you couldn't breathe, it just stops it. You'll be able to, it settles it down, and you can breathe all night. It's a very good treatment. Mm-hmm. Okay. Looks nice too.
Okay, and another beneficial treatment that we want to show you right now, it's very simple to make. What we do is we take some DMSO, which you can get at your local co-op or tractor supply store of that nature, and we're just putting in just probably a tablespoon of that DMSO right now to make it. We're going to put about 15 to 20 drops of pine oil in and mix it in with the DMSO. And actually a preference, we're not going to do that today, but a preference would be to put some olive oil in with this as well. And what we do, we use this for a pain oil. And anytime you have sore muscles or possibly bruising, joint pain, what we'll do is just rub this on like an ointment. Nora's going to demonstrate that on me right now. We're just going to put it on the forearm.
You want to make sure your hands are really clean before you do this, because whatever's on your hands will
Yeah, DMSO has solvent properties, so it could take something else into the skin. But we're, again, just keep things clean and you won't have any problem. And you'll actually feel a little warming effect. The DMSO will actually help in the healing, as well as the pine. The pine oil, you know, many people have heard of pine sap. We're actually using the oil because it's not as sticky. But the pine oil is great for killing pain. So it's a good anesthetic. And the pine oil, actually, you can use it. We've used it many times. If we have a toothache of some sort, you can just rub the pine oil straight onto the gums with a Q-tip, and it will actually take that pain away. So very simple to use. Like I said, if sometimes if the DMSO is too strong, it can cause a rash. If you just cut it with some olive oil, then that'll take care of that problem. But it's a very good ointment to have on hand in the home. The next treatment we're going to show you is we're going to make a clay and comfrey poultice. If you look here, we've just got a little bit of clay here, just bentonite clay. You can get that at any pottery store. It's very accessible, or you can get it at a health food store. And then we've got comfrey that's actually growing out in our yard right now. And another name for comfrey is bone knit. So it's very good for healing the bones, for fractures, breaks, things of that nature. We've just got all kinds of stories. We actually worked with a doctor one time that was in a car wreck and broke his ribs. And we made a large clay and comfrey poultice, and he put it on. And he was in a lot of pain at that time. And it actually took the pain away. It started the healing process, and he just raved about it. It's a great blessing. So again, we look at the comfrey leaf, and what are you going to do with these leaves, Nora?
Okay, I'm going to put these leaves into the blender with some water, and I'm going to make like a tea.
Okay, so you're just putting some water in it right now. How much water?
Well, depending
just
on
enough.
Yeah. Depending on how large of an area, we're just going to make a small poultice, so I'm just going to mix a little bit of water with comfrey.
Okay, we've got this blended up real well, and you got to pour it in the bowl now. And we've got, it's just a juice now. So we've just taken those comfrey leaves that we saw, and we've just made a juice out of it. And we're going to start adding a little bit of our clay at a time. And again, if you saw our charcoal poultice earlier, same principles we're using right now. We're just using clay this time, and our water binder is the comfrey juice, you know, that we will mix it with. And you notice that Nora is just mixing this in a little bit at a time until it starts forming a more solid properties, so that we can make a poultice out of it. What kind of consistency are you looking for with this, Nora?
Well, it depends. If we put some It's only a minute. It'll be just pretty much like the charcoal poultice. We don't have any of that, so it's going to be a little bit different. We could put it in and make it, you know, more like the other consistency, but this, we're just going to be using the clay, just something that can stick on the body. People will heal so much faster if they use these poultices. We had a lady at market this summer that was having trouble. She had broken her foot and it wasn't healing good. It was swelling a lot. And so we took her a few of these poultices. I think I took her 3. And she used them night after night. And she said then her foot was well and never swelled up again. So she was very happy with her comfrey clay poultices.
Okay, and you're going to roll this out the same as you did with the charcoal poultice, right?
You can, or you could just put it on the area and then wrap it with some plastic and then maybe an ace bandage.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll show you what this looks like. There you go.
We've just gone for a pasty, doughy consistency, and it's ready to place right on the body.
All right, we're going to put some of this on Tony's arm. We're just going to pretend that he's had quite a bruise. We're going to put this on the area, and we'll put a little bit of plastic.
I don't know if you can see that now or not.
It sticks on there pretty good.
Looks like somebody's got a nice avocado and they just spread it on top of there. So.
Okay, we're just going to put that on the area. And now to keep it on there, we're just going to wrap an ace bandage over the top of this, pin it, and then he can sleep with this or work with it. It should be good for helping to heal the area, and it'll help with pain.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the
comfrey
clay poultice.
Okay, our next remedy is going to be the hot towel treatment. What we're going to do is we're going to start with approximately 5 to 6 towels, and we're just going to start rolling these out. Okay, while I'm rolling these out, we want to tell you what this treatment is good for. It's actually going to make a nice hot heating compress that you can place anywhere on the body. You can be on the back, you can use larger towels and cover the whole back, or you can put it on a shoulder, leg, anything that you need. Now as I'm rolling these up, you can see that I'm creating a funnel, and we'll show you what we're going to do with this funnel in a minute. Let me get one more on here so you can get a pretty good look at it. Okay, you can see I'm starting to create a funnel here. You can see it coming down, and then it's actually funneling out on the inside. And what we're going to do in a minute is pour some nice hot water in that. And it's actually going to be boiling water. And it's, like I said, it's just going to be a really nice, fast, simple treatment. Okay, we're going to have Nora come in here now, and we're going to start pouring boiling water into this funnel. Okay, and as you can see, we're going to raise up a little bit. You can see there's no water hitting the floor right now. So it's just soaking the towel. Okay, and we're looking good right now. And I don't know if you can see it or not on the camera, but we've got some nice steam coming up right now. The towel is saturated, and it's ready to place on the afflicted body part at this point. But before you do that, you always want to put a barrier down. So what we'll do is you may need to double this towel, because this is nice, hot, moist heat. So it's going to, you're going to put that on the sore area, and you're going to leave it there. Now this towel will keep its heat for close to half an hour. And as it starts to cool off on top, and you'll always be asking the person you're working with, is it too hot for you or not? If it is, we're going to put another layer in between so that we'll make them nice and comfortable. And then as this starts to cool off, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a wrap off, and you can see the steam really coming up again, and then we're going to place that back down on top of the barrier and over the sore body part at that point. So you can see this is a very simple treatment. You know, it's something that you can use even if you didn't have electricity. You could boil water on your wood stove or something of that nature, and just really be able to help somebody out. Okay, as I told you before, our next treatment, while the cough syrup is simmering over there, we're going to show you how to use the neti pot, which is for nasal irrigation. You can see this neti pot right here. It looks kind of like a genie's lamp, and what I've put in this is a saline solution. I've got water. I like to use distilled water or pretty pure water if I'm going to introduce it into my nasal canals. And we've also put some salt in there. And what that's going to do, it's going to be like, I don't know if you've ever had grandma tell you to gargle with salt water when you get a sore throat. It's going to have the same effect. It's going to go up there and it's going to help dry out the nasal passage, as well as clean it out and heal any sores that you might have in there from having an infection of some sort. So we're just going to show you how to do this. It's not the prettiest thing that you'll ever see, but it's very effective. So what you're going to do is you're going to insert this into your nostril like this, and you're going to start just tipping it in, and you want to keep your mouth open while you do this because it's actually running up, and you can see it's pouring out the other side of my nose right now. So it takes a lot of talent to talk while you're doing this, but we're going to switch over to the other side because we want to get both sides really well and repeat the same process. So we're just running it up there right now, and it's coming out all up that side. Now it's very simple to do, and it'll really clean out the sinuses and all that. Like I said, it's not very pretty, but very effective. Okay, while we're talking about, after we just talked about the nasal irrigation, I wanted to give you some ideas that you could use in case you had a sinus infection or an ear infection. A lot of times those canals get filled up with mucus, it's infected, it's painful and sore. What you can use is a simple light bulb, and you can see that we've just got one that we've gotten from a hardware store. It's got a reflector on it. Precautions: you have to be very careful with light because it's hot. You know, you don't want to get it too close to the face, but you will receive a lot of good benefits by just that heat. And I'm just going to demonstrate a couple ways that you can use it. Again, with this lamp, it's got a little clamp on it. You could clamp it on a chair next to your bed while you're lying down. And let's say I've got an earache, and I just wanted to get some heat in here. I don't have to get any closer than this. I can feel a lot of heat right now from that. But what that's going to do is it's going to penetrate deeply into the skin, that light, and it's also going to warm that area up, and it's going to vasodilate the blood vessels in that area to help that congestion and that bacterial infection that you have in the ear. You can also do that if you covered the eyes. You could also do that with the sinuses as well, the nose, and it will have the same effect. It will vasodilate all those blood vessels, and it will help with drainage in those areas. So it's just another very simple treatment that you have right in your house. As long as you have electricity, this is a good treatment to use.
We want to show you how to make a salve. We call it heal-all salve. It's a salve that you can use anything from diaper rash to lip gloss to hives, any kind of skin irritation.
Yeah, we like to describe it as ears to rears and nose to toes, so it'll go all the way through.
You can use it anywhere.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. We've had quite an experience with it for the last 10-15 years. So we want to share it. We're going to use some olive oil. And I'm going to put about 4 cups of olive oil into a pan.
And if you're particular about your olive oil, you can use any kind you want to. We're just using what we have on hand right now to make the salve. So again, you're putting how many cups in?
4 cups.
4 cups. And now we're going to put a little bit of plantain in. And plantain's a common herb that you can find out in your yard all summer long. And you put a handful of that in?
I did.
Okay.
So it's about a half of a cup.
And what are you going to put in next?
Calendula, and it's about a half of a cup also. So you want to just make sure that these herbs are covered with all the oil, and then we're going to put it on the stove on very low temperature and just have it simmer for about 3 hours. So you don't want it to boil, you just want it to just barely bubble. And then after 3 hours, we're going to add some beeswax and we're going to finish up the salve. But right now I'm going to put this on the stove.
Now we're going to show you how to make an oil, garlic oil for earaches, things of that nature. And what we're going to do is we've got some good olive oil here, and we've got some garlic. Very simple. This oil that you're going to make, if you bought it in a health food store, would cost you from $8 to $15. So you're going to do this for pennies right now. What Nora's doing is she's chopping the garlic just so that it's good and scarred, so that we can get the properties out when we put it in the oil. And
We put the oil in.
we'll put the oil in now. And we're going to fill this 4-ounce jar about half full. So I guess a couple ounces. And now we're ready to put our garlic into that jar. You can really smell the garlic here.
The more garlic you use, the stronger the oil.
Yeah, and the better benefits you're going to get from it. Okay, and we're just going to cap it down. And what you want to do is you just kind of want to let this garlic sit in here for a week or two. 2 weeks is even better. It'll draw all the properties out. And if you ever have an earache or things of that, just put a couple drops in the ear and just lay on your side and let that soak in. This is also really good for softening up wax. There's a lot of people that build a lot of wax up in their ears. It'll soften it up where you can actually irrigate it out after a while. Be careful in doing all these things. The ears are very important, as well as the eyes, the nose. So use caution when you use it, but this is very effective.
This is also good for any kind of skin infection too. An infection that you'd have, on your skin, you can use.
And another great use for this, it works well for your salads. All right, we're going to show you now just a common herb that you can grow in your gardens, that you have in your kitchen cabinets. It's thyme. Many people use it for cooking, but it also has a lot of beneficial effects health-wise. And some of those effects, we write them right on our jars so that we can remember them. It's good for upper respiratory problems, headaches. It can help with a toothache, respiratory volume. It's mainly a upper respiratory herb. So we're just going to show you how to simply make a tea. A lot of people don't even know how to make a tea. The time is with leaves. So when you're making that, you're just going to put the leaves into the cup.
This is called an infusion.
Infusion.
We're going to use 1 teaspoon per cup. This is boiling water, and we're just going to pour that in over the top, and then we're going to cover it. So you don't want to boil leaves or flowers. It'll evaporate all the oils into the air. So we're going to leave it like that for about 20 minutes.
And then it'll be ready to drink. Another treatment that we've got up here right now is, we told you that we're making the Heal All salve right now, but this is another treatment for skin problems. If you have rashes, hives, things of that nature, and you know, like we're at least a half an hour to 45 minutes for many doctors. So we may need to do something fast. So how many people have oatmeal in their house? I think everyone has oatmeal. And what we're going to do is fill this sock with oatmeal and prepare it for using for an oatmeal bath. So we'll get this all filled up, and what we're making is an oatmeal tea bag right now. So we'll fill it up generously, and then all you have to do is just knot the top of the sock and just put it in your bath water, and the properties of the oatmeal will just infuse into the water, and it's very soothing in cases of rash, hives, and things of that nature. You can see Nora's just twisting it up, and it's ready to go. Very simple. Just stick it in the water, and you'll just watch it diffuse out into the water. Okay, while we are here, we wanted to show you some things that you can use for wounds. Let's say you didn't have any peroxide or iodine or anything of that nature in the house, and you had a nasty wound. Well, of course, you'd want to wash it out good first before you try to apply any dressing. But you can also put honey in the wound. For years and years, they've put sugar, honey in bed sores, deep abscesses and things, and bacteria can't survive in a medium of honey because it draws all the water away and they don't multiply. So this is good to have on hand if you don't have anything else to work with. I mean, honey's plentiful in a lot of areas. Another thing you can use on wounds is pine oil. We once worked with a diabetic that had just had the veins stripped out of her legs, and she had an open sore that would not heal, and she was in great pain. And what we did was we just dabbed some of this pine oil into the wound, and it instantly took away her pain within 5 minutes, and it started in the healing process. So again, we've talked about pine before. Pine is very good for stopping pain and for healing. Nora also wanted to show what you can do if you have a cold sore. Many people are plagued by these things, and what we're going to do is just use an ice cube.
Yeah, it's good to have a washcloth to hold it, but do you want me to do it on you or on me?
On you.
Okay, if you had like a cold sore coming, you can take an ice cube and just put it on that cold sore and wherever it is, and just hold it for 15 minutes. And then take it off for about 15 minutes and then do it again. And then off for 15 minutes, back on for 15 minutes. Do it 3 times, and the cold is actually killing that virus, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, that works really good for a cold sore.
It's bringing fresh blood in the area, and ice can be used for many things. In our hydrotherapy video, we show a lot of uses for ice. Of course, if you sprain an ankle, you sprain something, ice is very good for numbing the area and slowing down the traffic jam, is what I call it, when everything comes down and tries to start the healing process, and then you get all that swelling in that area. Ice will slow all that down and reduce that swelling so that the ankle or wrist or whatever you've sprained can start to heal. So ice is very effective that way. You can also do an ice massage, which we've shown in another one of our videos, that you just work around the muscle, and it will also numb the area where you can work on it. Say it was on a shoulder, and you could, after you've numbed that area, you can actually work on it. You can take it through a range of motion. Many things that you couldn't do if it wasn't numbed. So ice is very good to have for those things.
You can put ice in a bag, and if somebody's having an asthma attack, you can put it to their throat, and it'll stop that reaction. If somebody's having heart palpitations, you can take an ice bag and put it to their heart, and it'll help it to rest. And
it'll slow down the beats per minute. So it's a very, very simple thing to have on hand, but it's very effective. Okay, we're going to show you now a little mixture that we have for stopping addictions, such as, or helping with stop addictions, such as smoking, alcohol, things that affect the neuroreceptors in the brain. And the formula for this that we use is 3/4 cup lemon. It's going to be a 1/2 cup of honey and a 1/3 teaspoon of essential oil of peppermint. Now we're going to lower those proportions for the purpose of this film, but if you were going to help somebody, you'd want at least that much in the mixture, and you want them to take that every time they get the urge. Let's say if there's a smoker, every time they get the urge to smoke, you want them to take a tablespoon of that. And you know, with the again, with the lemon, it's very cleansing. The honey and the peppermint brings oxygen into the bloodstream, and the honey will actually take up a lot of those receptors, those pleasure receptors that many times are taken up by nicotine, alcohol, things of that nature. Again, every time they get the urge, they take a teaspoon of this. Okay, and Nora's just finishing up with putting the mixture together, and that's all you have to do. Just put this in a jar, cap it, put it in your refrigerator, and just use it as you need it.
The fresh lemon is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we with any of these mixtures that we give you, we try to use fresh fruits and vegetables, because that's what has all the healing properties that the Lord's put in them. So we try to put as much of that, the fresh stuff, in as you can. Anytime you use the concentrates, you're not getting the same effect that you would with something that's fresh.
Okay, there's a mixture.
Okay.
It smells good. You can store it in the refrigerator.
Okay, what are you going to show them next, Nora?
Okay, we're going to show something that we use a lot. We started calling it a sprinkle, but now we use it a lot more than a sprinkle. We've made it a cereal. And through the years, as people have called and they said that they've had like rheumatoid arthritis, or they're having depression, just a multitude of problems, even menopausal, symptoms and stuff, we'll tell them to start eating the cereal. And what it is flax seeds, coconut, and sesame seeds. And so we're going to put those together and blend them and use it as cereal.
What proportions do we use them as?
Equal proportions.
Equal proportions. So equal of flaxseed, coconut, and sesame seed.
So if we just ate this like it is, it would take a lot of chewing. And so it's very good. You can roast it too, just a little bit if you like, or you can just do them raw. And usually we just do them raw. So that's a 1/2 cup of the flaxseed, 1/2 cup of coconut, and 1/2 cup of sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are really high in calcium.
The flaxseed high in omega-3 fatty acids. and the coconut high in omega-6s. So you're actually getting a real balanced cereal, and you're going to have, we believe, tremendous effects. We like to we grind this cereal up like Nora's going to do in a minute, and we like to add a little bit of maple syrup to it, just for sweetening, and then we will put, you could put the milk of your choice, but we tend towards soy milk, almond milk, things of that nature. So Nora's going to grind this up for you so you can see what it looks like. Want a bowl? I'm going to get a bowl. Okay.
We had a couple that called. The wife was having trouble with depression. We told her that she might want to try this cereal, and we heard from them 6 months later, and they'd been taking a half of a cup each every morning as a cereal, and at the end of 6 months, all their rheumatoid arthritis had gone away. So they were having lots of trouble with their
Joints.
hips, their joints, and that all went away after 6 months. So this became their cereal. So that's what it looks like. That's a cup and a half of it. So that's a lot of cereal. That would be like for 3 people.
Yeah, that's a bunch there, and you can kind of just see it ground up. Very simple, and we hope you enjoy it. Nora's going to start on the honey and onion cough syrup, and what she's going to do, we've got a great big onion here. You can see that, softball size, and she's going to hollow that onion out. Obviously carefully, because cutting with a knife with an onion, you can run into a lot of trouble. But what she's doing right now is she's just hollowing that onion out, and she's going to show you in a minute what it looks like after she gets it started.
I'm going to switch over to a spoon.
Yeah, well, she's going to switch over to a spoon in a minute, and
I've
just
got it started. We're going to hollow it out even more.
okay, and you can see she's just digging it around. It's just going to be a nice bowl after she gets done, and we'll show that to you. Just a second.
This is a good cough syrup. All it is just honey and onion. Okay, so depending on how much you want to make, we have a hollowed out onion. And you could hollow it out more. We're going to set that down in the water. I'm going to see how it sets. It's sitting pretty good. I'm going to take my honey and fill that.
Okay.
Got about 1 inch of water, half an inch of water in the pan.
Okay, and now we're going to put it on the stove and let it simmer.
We're going to let it simmer for about an hour, and then all the good properties of the onion will go into the honey, and we'll have a wonderful cough syrup. No chemicals, no sugar, just a natural cough syrup that works very good. We can add things to it later. We can put some lemon or eucalyptus, different additives and stuff, but right now, just even as it is, it'll be a wonderful cough syrup.
Okay, we've just finished our onion and honey cough syrup, and Nora's got it right here, and you can see where that's hollowed out. It's got a lot of the properties of the onion and the honey now, and what we're going to do is just put this into a little mug here, and like we told you before, you can just use it this way, or you could put a little bit of lemon in it. You could put a little bit of eucalyptus in it. Both have good antiseptic effects, and also some what?
That's peppermint.
Peppermint. You can put peppermint in there as well. So it'll just give that, again, that oxygenation, that kind of cooling sensation.
You could even put some of the thyme.
Yeah, you could put thyme in it as well. So it's it's a cough syrup that's ready to go. Honey's a great sedative, and it'll just kind of slow down that coughing and give you the rest that you need. So very simple to make.
And inexpensive.
And inexpensive. Okay, now we're ready to show you the end product of our calendula salve, or our heal all salve. And you can see here what Nora has used. She's melted down a block of beeswax. She's got that in this pan over here. You can get these type of blocks from your local apiaries around here. You can see that she's cooked down the calendula and plantain in the olive oil, and it's ready to go. So you have all that, and then we have the melted down wax over here. So the next step that Nora's going to do, I believe, is she's going to strain the calendula and plantain into another bowl so that we get all the medicinal properties out, and we get all the flowers and things sifted out through the strainer. Okay, now I just have a nice looking
Has a pretty color, doesn't it?
oil here. Yes, it's very pretty. Okay, and now our next step.
Set that off to the side.
Okay, we'll get that out of the way.
Okay, so now we're going to add beeswax.
Okay, we're pouring the beeswax into it now. And when working with beeswax, you get it good and hot, but when it hits the cool air, it starts setting up rather quickly. So you can't dilly-dally around with it. You have to start getting in the containers. Okay.
That was 4 cups of oil that we used, and it was probably a couple, maybe 2 ounces of beeswax.
Of beeswax.
But you want to check to see if your consistency is what you want, and so we're just going to put a drop out here on the counter, and we're just going to wait and see how it looks. Now sometimes you might want a salve that's more like a Vaseline, and so that would be something thin. You wouldn't use as much beeswax. And sometimes you want to have it nice and firm, like maybe for a lip gloss or something like that. So we'll just take a look here, and that looks like it's going to be pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right. Okay, so we have these containers that we've gotten. This is just a little plastic container. You can get any kind of container. You can use even a small jar if you want. And then we've got another little plastic container that's nice for, like a lip gloss or lip balm, or just a small thing for your purse. So we're just going to fill these up, and we'll show you what the end product looks like. Once you have these full, you can go ahead and put an essential oil in, something that you'd like to smell. We use peppermint a lot. We have more people ask for peppermint than lavender. It's nice and cool.
Okay.
So once that starts to set up, then you just go ahead and put a couple of drops of your essential oil, and we'll let those set, and then we'll show you what they look like when they're all done.
Here we've now poured our salve into all our containers, and you can see we have how many of the 2-ounce containers, Nora? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 2-ounce containers, and these are actually some of the finished product, but these are setting up quite fast. And then we have made several of the little lip gloss containers from that batch. So it's quite a large amount that this will make, and these things, they're wonderful gifts to friends or those who are in need. They're just it's a good thing to know how to do. So keep this in mind, and you can help your family and help a lot of people with it. A final consideration in using these remedies is that we as individuals can't heal anyone. we need to call on a higher power. And we would ask that before you perform these remedies on anyone, that you ask the Lord for His special blessing, because He's the one that gave us the simple natural remedies. And these remedies are simple to use, they're inexpensive, and they can be a great blessing, but we need His blessing to make these treatments effective. So we pray that you will also see your need to call on the Creator.